I guess we're live. Get everything started here. All right, live across all channels. Hi, everybody. It's Liz. We're getting ready to do a 60-minute Vinyasa practice starting at 12, so we still got a few minutes. If you wanted some music for your practice today, hi, if you're just joining us. If you want some music for your practice today, I'm on Spotify under Elizabeth Scollin, and today's playlist is called Vinyasa from Afar. It should be one of the first ones, so feel free to pull that up, or you can listen to the music that you prefer to listen to at home. I guess that's the plus of not being practiced together. If we're looking for a silver lining, is you don't have to listen to my music. You can find music that you like better. If you are able to have props for this practice, I highly recommend having 2 blocks and a strap. They're not necessary. You should be able to modify the practice or to do without, but they might come in handy a few times if you do have them laying around at home. We'll get started in just a few minutes. I'm hoping that my puppy, which I don't know if you can see her in the background, that she stays in sleepy zone, but I have a sneaking suspicion that once I start moving, she's going to get very interested in what I'm doing. So we'll hope for the best here. I hope everybody's surviving Mr. Craziness. Yesterday was perfect. It was so nice to have like the gorgeous weather and be able to get outside. I keep looking at my back garden and thinking like, all right, I need to get my butt in gear and actually weed it. But I haven't been able to get myself that motivated yet. Class is starting at 12 o'clock. Almost time. Hi to those of us who are just joining in. Yoga starts in 5 minutes, so if you wanted to grab any last props or find some music, my Spotify playlist is, hey Natalie, my Spotify playlist for today's class, if you look up Elizabeth Scollin and Spotify, the playlist is called Vinyasa from Afar. So if you wanted to listen to my music, great. If you want the silence and the peace of your own home and your own breath, that's great as well. Or you can listen to whatever it is that you are currently really enjoying. And we'll get boogieing pretty soon in about 4 minutes. I'm really missing the hot room today. Hey, Glow. My house, I've got the heat pumped up to like 75 and it still feels freezing, like my toes are numb. So I am dreaming of the days that we'll be back in that warm room for our Vinyasa practice. But if you feel like using a space heater, know that you're welcome to do that. The focus of today's practice is going to be a lot of outer glutes and inner hip. So some stretching and some strength training, and it's kind of a progressive sequence, which means that we're going to be utilizing a lot of the same shapes in different directions and building on that vocabulary towards a couple of hopefully rather fun peak poses. Some challenging stuff, Uthitta, Hasta, Padagustasana, and Visvamitrasana. Hey, Glow. You've been doing all of the yoga. I'm impressed. I guess it's no different than what we're normally used to. You're a dedicated yogi. It looks like people yesterday were teaching their practices outside, but I was a little too worried that I would get rained on halfway through. Like that would be my luck. We'd be getting going like right at that point, and then all of a sudden the downpour would happen. 2 minutes to showtime. You heard maybe earlier, we're going to utilize the potential of props if you have them. You can always get creative, like block stacks, or I mean, rather, book stacks are great instead of blocks. And then a strap if you have it. And you may not need either. I just always offer them. They can be helpful as kind of a tool to bridge the gap between like where we are and where we want to be, or where we are working towards. I'm going to start having conversations with myself. Hey, Susan, how are you? Hey, Lauren, how are you? Fitting in some yoga, even with your full house. That video, Lauren, that you took of your daughter dancing on the counter was hilarious. I watched it like 6 times. Cracked me up. All right. Trying, I love it. And ready to talk to somebody related to me. I'm ready to not be talking to a screen. Can I just say that much? It's so bizarre. I feel like I'm a crazy person. I'm like up here in my little loft area having a conversation with myself. All right, it is time to start the yogas, my friends. We're going to come down onto our mats on our backs to start with. So you might be in constructive rest pose, which means that feet are on the floor, or you might be in shavasana. So you're finding the pose that's more comfortable for you. So coming down all the way onto your back, legs extended or feet on the mat. And I recommend putting your hands on your belly to start. So this kind of grounding gesture, maybe even a hand on the belly and a hand on the chest. There's been so many reasons or so many things that could potentially be pulling us towards a place of anxiety, of stress. And oftentimes when we're in that state, it's kind of out of body experience that we're kind of like wandering around in front of or behind ourselves. And so this gesture is a way of kind of returning to your physical body. With that, take a deep breath in. Feel your lower belly, your chest, the back of your body, and your sides with your breath. And then open your mouth and exhale it out. Two more cleansing breaths. And inhale through your nose to fill up. Maybe even at the top of your inhale, another sip in the sense of kind of deepening your lungs capacity. And then open your mouth and exhale. One last deep breath in. And release. Let your lips seal and start to draw the breath in and out through your nostrils, maybe even creating a little constriction of the muscles at the back of your throat, the same way that you would to either fog up a mirror or whisper. So finding your ujjayi breathing, which is really helpful, especially since we're not necessarily in a heated room right now. That constriction of the muscles in the back of the throat starts to create more heat in the body, the tapas or the fire in the practice. In these first few moments, we don't have to do anything other than letting the body be breathed. And letting our conscious awareness remain in the body rather than kind of flitting off on those thought tangents, even though they may happen. When they do, see if you can just fold the distractions back into your breath, back into the body. Take one more big breath in. And this time at the top of your inhale, hold your breath softly in the body. So there's no tension in the neck or the jaw, but you're holding your breath for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, let it go all the way back out. Now draw your knees in towards your belly. Wrap your arms around the outsides of your shins. Give yourself a little hug, squeeze. You might even lift your head and your shoulders off of the floor. Drawing your nose towards your knees towards your nose, and then lengthen your tailbone towards the front of your mat so that you're trying to press the back of your pelvis down onto the floor. And then let your head and your shoulders release back down to the mat. Keep your right knee drawing in towards your belly and extend your left leg out so that it's hovering off of the floor. Squeeze the glutes, the back of your hamstring, and press the back of your pelvis down. And just take a moment to kind of pulse that left foot up and down. Keep squeezing the right knee in towards your belly. And then inhale to release your right knee. Draw your left knee in and extend your right leg out. If you can, keeping that foot at a hover, find that little tiny baby pulse. Still finding that sense of strong engagement, especially through your lower abs as you squeeze the left thigh in and down. Inhale to switch. Exhale to squeeze and pulse. Upper body is relaxed and widening to the floor. Inhale to release. Exhale to switch and pulse. We're going to start to take it right to left with a little bit more momentum. You can skip the pulse of the foot if you wanted to take the speed a little bit more. And we're going to start to make it a forceful exhale out through the mouth. So it's like a train picking up momentum. Keep drawing that thigh in and down. You'll notice that you don't have to focus on the inhale, that the inhale will happen naturally. It's almost like a reflex. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw your right knee in towards your belly. Bring your left leg all the way down to the floor. And here's where a prop might come in handy. So you're working to catch the outside of your calf, ankle, foot, or take yogi toe grip. And if none of those feel super accessible to you, then you're going to place a strap or a t-shirt or a towel around the outside of that right foot. Left hand holds onto your left thigh, and the right leg is going to start to open out to the right. Now let's make sure that that left thigh stays grounded. So if you feel like your hip is lifting off of the floor, press it back down again. I'm getting a toe bath from my puppy who's wondering what the hell I'm doing right now. Draw that knee, or rather draw that foot up towards your shoulder and then out. So you start to find whatever feels like the fullest expression this early in the practice that you can find for you, where there's a sense of tension, but still an easeful breath. Inhale to bring it back to center and switch. So now you're catching the outer edge of the right foot with your left hand. Bring your right arm out to the side of the body, and let's bring that right leg all the way up and over so that you're in a spinal twist. Pull your right hip crease towards the top of your mat, so the side of your body is lengthening. And then press the pinky edge of your right foot into your left hand. Pull the foot back, the outer edge of the foot back with your fingertips. So there's a sense of pushing and pulling at the same time. And then bring the leg all the way back up through center. Hands come to the back of that calf, ankle, or foot. Elbows hugging tight towards the back of the leg, and we're going to lift up. Keep pointing or flexing those left toes, reaching that leg forward so that leg is as straight as is possible for you. And then we're going to inhale to switch so that you're holding onto the back of the left leg. Elbows hugging in tight towards the back of the left thigh. Press the back of your pelvis into the floor and hug the belly muscles in. Find a little pulse. Inhale to release, exhale to switch and pulse. Inhale to release, exhale to switch and pulse. Now, if you feel like there's a lot of tension in the back of your neck, you can bring one of your hands to the back of the head to give yourself a little bit more support. Moving from side to side, let's start to switch on an exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right leg comes back down to the floor, left knee draws in towards your belly. We're going to reach for the outer edge of that calf, ankle, or foot, straightening the leg into the hand, taking yogi toe grip or using your strap. Really reach through the ball of your right foot or the heel and use your right hand to press the right thigh down. So you're not letting that side of your body lift as you open the left leg over to the left. Outer edges of your shoulder blades stay grounded on the floor so that we get that nice, juicy inner thigh stretch. Now you might start to bend that left elbow in so that you're pulling the toes up towards your shoulder, which is going to intensify the inner thigh stretch quite a bit. Using your breath to find that spot where you're like, okay, this is where I'm working kind of to the full extent that is available to me at this moment. Bring the leg all the way back up through center and switch the grip so it's opposite hand to foot. Right hand holds the outer edge of your left foot, or you can switch the strap if that's what you're using. Rolling onto your right hip, take your left leg over to the left. Try to keep your left shoulder on the floor as you draw that left foot up towards your right shoulder. Now pull your left hip crease away from your ribs, so you're kind of pulling it towards the top of your mat. Big stretch through the side of the body, through the outer hip. 3 more breaths. 2. And 1. Inhale that leg all the way back up to center. Walk the hands to the back of that calf, ankle, or foot, lifting the head and the shoulders off of the floor. So you're drawing the leg down towards you. Once again, we're going to switch it side to side. So our concentration is on really using the core as well as giving ourselves a little bit of momentum in the legs, a little bit of freedom to sweep the legs side to side to begin to warm up the fascia. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale the arms up above the head, point the toes, press the back of your pelvis down so you're like a canoe, and then rise all the way up into boat pose. So knees drawing towards your chest, hands reaching towards the outer edges of your feet, chest is lifted. Cross your ankles on the floor, plant your palms in front of you, step back to your downward facing dog, taking the sides of the waist up and back, and then circle your knees forward, right to left. So you can keep that little bend in your knees, and you're really opening that knee out to the side and wide. Toning through your lower belly. So the only thing that's really moving is the hip joints. Last one, bring your big toes to touch. Start to bring your heels in and your toes out. And then you're going to send your hips back and up, belly towards your legs. And then bring it all the way forward so that your shoulders stack over your wrists. Bend your knees out wide, press your chest back towards your thighs, and then bring it all the way forward. Start to take it forward, front to back. So working to create a little bit of heat in the body. And then I promise we'll slow down that flow. Keep toning your lower belly, making sure that your shoulders don't come in front of your wrists. One last time, pressing your belly back towards your thighs, maybe taking your hips a little bit right to left. And then turn your toes forward, press your heels down towards the floor, stretching out the back of your calves and your hamstrings. Walk your hands back towards your feet so that you're at the back of your mat in a forward fold. And you might need to bend your knees quite a bit for this. In fact, I recommend working with bent knees because it allows us to really work into the bulk of the muscle rather than the spots where the muscles connect. Relax the belly and the chest onto the thighs, pulling your navel up and in, and then tilt your tailbone way up towards the ceiling. Start to bring the weight maybe just slightly towards the front of the foot. Hands can remain on the floor, or you might reach for the clasp of opposite elbows here. And then that whole torso can really hang heavy over the legs. You might even find, because we're working into hamstrings, glutes, and hips today, that you might want to bring those hands to the backs of the legs. Slide the forearms towards the heels, towards the ankles. Relax your neck as you lift your hips up. One last big breath in. And a big breath out. Release the hands all the way down to the floor. Bend your knees. Traction the feet away from one another isometrically so that you're turning on the outsides of the glutes to rise all the way to stand. And then at the top of the spine, sweep those arms all the way out and up.
bringing your palms to press above the head, moving those arm bones back, firming up your thighs as you reach up. And then exhale, release those hands all the way back down in front of your heart. Inhale again, reach up, big wide sweep, palms come to press. Exhale, bend your knees, butt pokes back, chest moves forward, folded all the way back down. Palms to the floor, fingertips to the mat. Inhale to your half lift, sliding the hands up to your shin bones. And then plant your palms on the floor and walk your feet all the way back to the top of the mat so that you're in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg goes sky high, right knee bends and opens towards the ceiling. Left heel presses down, left hip crease draws back. Come up onto your right fingertips and look underneath of your right armpit. So you might even open a little bit more. That knee is lifting way up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the outside of that right glute, so that little indentation kind of on the side of your booty. And then circle that knee forward. Big wide sweep. One more big breath in to reach, to lengthen. Up, up, up. And then curl that knee in towards your chest, roll forward and step that right foot all the way up in between your hands. Back knee comes to the floor for an Vinyasa variation. Pressing the right big toe forward, the back shin back. Arms reach all the way up to frame your ears. Moving those arm bones back, curling open through your chest. Maybe bringing hands to the back of your head, curling the elbows in and lifting through your heart. And this time that back foot slides all the way forward to the top of the mat so that your feet are crossed. Come up onto the balls of your feet, inner thighs drawing together, belly strong, chest forward. See if you can find balance here, and then lift those sits bones up a little bit more, which is gonna give you a little bit more sensation on the outside of the hips. And then once you find that, see if you can fly your arms straight back behind you. Chest stays lifted, arms are reaching back, and you're still pulling the navel towards the spine. Take one more big breath in. Think about inner rotation of your thighs to widen the back of the pelvis. And then bring your heels all the way down as your arms sweep all the way up to frame your ears. Curl that back knee in towards your chest, so left knee comes in towards your belly. Interlace your fingers around the outside of that shin and pull the left thigh in as you press down into all four corners of your right foot. So standing leg is strong and firm. And you're working to find the same sense of connection between your front body and your thigh that we did when we were lying on our backs. Release that foot all the way back down to the floor. Sweep those arms all the way up to frame your ears. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Fold all the way back down to the floor. Belly to thighs, forehead to shins. Inhale to your half lift. Plant your palms. This time step back. Take it high to low plank, bringing it all the way down onto your belly. Let's bring it into a low cobra pose. Feet down, curling the chest forward and up. Elbows in tight, fingers pull back to draw the chest forward, and then exhale, lower all the way back down to your forehead. Option to either press to the top of a push-up or to press back to child's pose. Big breath in, firm up your lower belly as you exhale, rise. Take the sides of the waist up and back to that bent knee, downward facing dog. Come up onto your left fingertips, right heel presses down, left knee lifts up towards the ceiling. So you're opening through the side of that body. Big, big, big stretch. Open that left hip up. Keep pulling your right hip crease back and keep toning the lower abs. Ribs kind of closing off towards the front of your hips. And then circle that left knee forward a few times. One more big breath in to stretch that left knee sky high. Reach, reach, reach. Active flex of those left toes back. And then curl the knee in towards your nose. Step through and bring your back knee all the way down. Vinyasa again. Press down to lift up. Hands to the back of the head, squeezing the inner thighs towards one another to parallel the hips, and then leaning the head back into the support of the hand to curl open through your upper back. Tips of the shoulder blades kind of nestling underneath the back of your chest. One more big breath in. Exhale to release your hands down to frame your front foot. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee. Slide your right foot behind your left foot so your ankles are crossed. Really see if you can slide it. Squeeze the inner thighs together, coming up onto the balls of the feet. The more you power up those inner legs, the easier it's going to be to balance up this high. Stay high on the balls of the feet and see if you can reach your arms straight back behind you. Finding that inner rotation of your thighs. Chest forward, belly in for 3, 2. On one, heels down, rise to stand. Draw your right knee in towards your belly. Interlace your fingers around the outside of your right shin. Resisting the urge to lean back, I want to stay centered over that standing leg, firming up the thigh, squeezing the right knee in towards the chest, shoulders down. Step the feet hips with distance. Inhale, arms sweep up to frame your ears. Exhale, fold all the way back down to the mat. Inhale to your half lift. Plant your palms, step back, and take it from high to low. Cobra pose again. Lift it up, chest forward, gaze forward. Exhale, lower all the way back down to your forehead. Curl your toes under, breath in, press up, and take it back to downward facing dog. Come up onto your right fingertips, right knee lifts sky high. Big stretch out through that right side body. Curl it in, step it through, back knee lowers down. Press down to lift up on Vinyasa pose. Hands to the back of the head, hips forward, elbows lift, look up. Exhale, hands release down. Slide the left foot behind your right foot. So you're not lifting the foot off of the floor, it's coming in, kind of sliding the foot across the mat. Come up onto the balls of the feet, belly in, arms back behind. Let your heels lower down, draw that left knee in towards your belly, rise all the way to stand. Step your feet together, arms up. Exhale, fold all the way back down. Inhale, half lift. Plant your palms, step back. One last time, we take it all the way down onto our bellies. Cobra pose, rising up. Exhale, lower down. Child's pose at the top of a push-up, press up. And press back to downward facing dog. Come up onto your left fingertips, left knee lifts up towards the ceiling. Take that giant step forward, left foot all the way up in between the hands, back knee lowers down. Reach it up, hands to the back of the head. Find that squeeze, working the inner thighs and pressing that front big toe forward as you curl open, open, open. Exhale, hands release all the way down. Curl those back toes under, slide the right leg behind your left leg. Squeeze the inner thighs and lift it up. Reach those arms back behind you. Lower belly up and in. Heels lower all the way down. And then you're drawing that back knee in towards your chest as you rise all the way to stand. Step your feet together, arms reach up. This time feet come to touch, bring your palms to press. Exhale, elbows bend, curling the chest forward, elbows forward, then lift. Hip points up. Inhale, arms reach all the way back up to frame your ears. And exhale, hands to heart center. Now bring the weight into your right foot. Draw that left knee in towards your chest. Cross your left knee behind your right knee and start to drop the pelvis down towards the floor. Inhale, take that leg all the way in and up. This time you're gonna skate the leg all the way over. So left foot comes all the way over towards the right side of the mat. Pinky edge of the foot is on the floor. Arms reach back. Squeezing inner thighs together. Keep moving your sits bones back behind you and your belly up and in. Draw that knee back into your chest. Take your time. Come all the way to stand. Cross that left knee behind your right knee and start to sink it here. Hands can come to the floor. This is the spot to use blocks if you want. And then draw that knee in towards your chest and rise to stand. One more time. Cross it all the way over so you're taking a wider step, left foot over to the right and back in. Drawing that left knee in towards your chest. Step the feet together, Uthitta pose. Drop the pelvis low and back. Move your arm bones back, maybe bringing palms to touch. As you lengthen fingertips up, draw your hip creases back, side body long. Exhale, hands come all the way down to the floor. If you want this time, practicing a jump back. So planting your palms, coming up onto the balls of the feet. Remember that you're landing at the bottom of a push-up rather than the top of a push-up. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra pose. And then exhale, hips roll back. Find your downward facing dog. Inhale, take your right leg up sky high. Right knee bends, right hip opens towards the ceiling. Take a big giant circle forward 2 or 3 times. Lift that knee way up. Keep reaching as you pull your left hip crease back. And then curl that knee in, step it through for your high lunge. So staying high on the ball of your back foot. Arms reach up to frame your ears. Thumbs cross, arm bones move back. Driving weight forward towards that front big toe. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Squeeze your left glute especially to level off your pelvis. Taking one more big breath in. And another big breath out to sink a little deeper into that front thigh as you firm up your back quadricep. Exhale, spin that back foot out, come to warrior 2. So this is a heel to heel alignment. Back toe spin slightly more forward and you're bending into that front knee as you reach through your arms. Steady gaze over your front middle finger. Squeeze especially your booty and hug the inner thighs towards one another as you let your tailbone lengthen down. Steady gaze over towards that front middle finger. Let's revolve, back hand lower, sliding it down the back of the thigh, reaching your right arm all the way up and over. Keep bending into your front knee, making sure that the knee isn't falling inward. We're keeping it tracking directly over the middle of the toes. And then arms come back out over your legs. Front leg straightens, and your right toes are going to pivot in. Hands come to your lower back, press your hips forward, lift your chest, lift your gaze. And a rotation of your thighs to begin to fold. So you're bringing your hands all the way down to the floor. Now make sure your feet are a little bit like equal signs on the outside. The inner edges of your feet might be slightly pigeon-toed. Lift your tailbone way up towards the ceiling. Bend your elbows in and back to draw the crown of the head down towards the floor. We want to think side body length here as well. So from the space of your hip to the underneath of your ribs, lengthen. Relaxing the neck and the shoulders. So you're using those bigger muscles of the upper back, the lats here. 3 more breaths. Making sure that you are breathing, always important too. On 1, inhale to find your half lift. Walk your hands in front of your left toes, and this is a spot where you might want blocks. In fact, I'm going to use them just so you can see what I'm talking about here. And I'm going to turn so that you can see me a little bit better. So blocks are in front of that left foot, and your right leg is going to come out to the side of the body, lifting that foot up to the height of the hip. So if you have your hands on the floor and you feel like you're really collapsed, see if you can find something to put underneath of your hands. Knit your bottom 2 ribs in and reach your right heel away from your hip. They're shaking, that's good news. It means you're really doing the work. Lift it up a little bit higher if you can. And then circle those right toes forward. For 3. For 2. Nice work. On 1, take a giant step back. So you're going to bring your right foot back to the top of the mat. Bend into your right knee and come up onto your left heel. So you're coming into judo squat. And you're extending those left fingertips up towards the ceiling, right shoulder pressing into your right thigh. Hands come back to the floor. Let's bring it all the way back to center. Both sets of toes turn forward, hands to the hips, lift up halfway. Exhale once here, and then inhale, rise all the way to stand. Drive the pelvis forward, lift the chest, lift the gaze, and then extend those arms back out over your legs. Let's come back to warrior 2. Front big toes turn forward, bending into that front knee. Cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. Let's slide that back foot behind the front foot again. Come up onto the balls of the feet, look forward, arms reach back behind you. This time try to stay on the balls of the feet as you rise all the way to stand. Squeezing those inner thighs, reaching up through the sides of the body as those arms reach towards the ceiling. Squeeze the outer glutes, the inner hips, tighten your lower belly. And then release those heels all the way down to the floor as you draw your left knee up and over. Option to stay here or take it to Padagustasana. Left knee crosses over top of the right, maybe the toes tuck. And then you're going to bring the left elbow underneath of the right elbow. Squeezing the legs together, sink those hips low. See if you can level off your shoulders with your hips. Maybe bending into that front knee a little bit more, sinking lower. See if you can level the hips to the space in front of you. So for most of us, that means right hip pulls forward, left hip pulls back. Thumbs move away from face, elbows move away from chest. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 2. On 1, unwind, draw that knee back into your chest and step that foot to the floor. Arms sweep all the way up towards the ceiling. Right knee draws into your chest. So tuck your right knee behind your left knee. You're going to keep that foot in close for this first one. Drop the pelvis low and back. And then inhale, draw that knee back into your chest, rise to stand. Take the right foot way over to the left side of your mat, maybe off of your mat. Drive that pelvis low and back. Inner rotation of the thighs, chest forward. Again, knee into chest, rise to stand. There's no rush. In fact, the slower you move, the more you're building strength. Keep it close, sink the pelvis straight down. And then draw that knee in towards your chest. Skate it way out behind you. Pelvis goes back, chest goes forward. Inhale, lift it up. Draw that knee back into the chest. Step your feet together, sink the hips low and back. Maybe thumbs come to touch for your chair pose. Remember that when you look down, you should be able to see the balls of the feet, or rather lift the balls of the feet off of the floor. You can see all 10 of your toes. One more big breath in, open. Exhale, release those hands down to the floor. If you have a puppy on your mat, Tell your puppy to move. You're going to move through your vinyasa, or you can simply step back to downward facing dog. Any variation of that vinyasa that you practice, and we meet there. Inhale, left leg lifts way up towards the ceiling. Left knee bends, left hip opens. Circle that knee forward a few times. And then step that left foot all the way through the space between your hands for your high lunge pose. Pressing down into your feet to rise up. Front knee bent to 90 degrees. Arm bones move back as much as they can. Chest is lifted. See if you can center those shoulders over top of your legs. Squeeze the inner thighs as you deepen the bend in the front knee. Lift the gaze, look up. Exhale to warrior two. Back foot spins out. Arms reach towards the front and the back of the mat. Settle in for a moment. Make sure you've got that heel to heel alignment rather than heel to arch. Turn those back toes slightly more forward. Foot, knee, and hip are all in the same direction. And then your torso. So your belly and your chest are opening to the long edge of the mat as you bend into your front knee. Steadying your gaze. Find that power. So from the legs, drawing up, creating lift. Revolve your warrior. Back hand lowers. Left palm flips face up and reaches up and back as you drop that right hand further and further down that back thigh. Inhale, arms back out over your legs, front leg straightens. Pivot those toes, hands to the lower back, or interlace your fingers this time, reach the knuckles down, curl the chest open. Exhale, fold. Arms moving up and over your head. Knuckles reaching towards the ceiling. And then thumb finger coming down towards the floor. See if you can lift the tailbone a little bit further up. Find that inner rotation of your thighs to widen the back of the pelvis. Keep the tone of your belly. Neck and shoulders relax. Release your hands all the way down to the floor. Grab your blocks if you use them for the first side. This time you're going to start to walk your hands over in front of your right foot. And that left foot is going to come out to the side of the body. So see if you can lift that foot all the way up to the height of your hip. And if you've got a mirror or a screen in front of you that you can really kind of take a look at where you are, go for it. Make sure those toes are in your field of vision. And then squeeze the right hip in and back. Tighten your lower belly. Circle that left foot forward. Just a tiny little circle for 3. For 2, on 1, take a giant step back to the top of the mat. Hands come to your hips, lift up halfway, exhale. Inhale, rise all the way up. Drive the hips forward, elbows together behind the back, gaze lifts, chest lifts. Warrior 2, spin those back toes forward, coming back into your warrior 2 position, Visvamitrasana 2. Circle your hands down to frame your front foot. Come up onto the ball of the back foot and then slide that back foot in behind your front foot. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Come up onto the balls of the feet. Belly up and in. You might even round a little bit this time. See if you can stay on the balls of the feet as you rise all the way to stand. It's probably a little shaky. Do your best. New vocabulary of movement. So inner thighs are squeezing. Arms are reaching up. Stay high on the balls of the feet. Keep reaching. And then bring the heels to the floor. Draw your right knee up and over for Padagustasana. Right knee crosses over left knee, right toes tuck. Right arm comes underneath the left arm. Level off the pelvis. Shoulders stack over hips. Lift the frontal hip points as you start to sink into that standing leg knee. Remember, the weight should be a little bit closer to the heel so that we're working the glutes and the quadriceps rather than feeling it all on the knee. Sink a little bit lower. Thumbs away from face, elbows away from chest. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 2. Nice work on 1. Draw that knee back in towards your chest. Arms sweep up to frame your ears. Exhale, step that right foot to the floor. Side number 1, we'll pick up the pace and we'll add. Left knee draws in towards the chest. Cross left knee behind right knee. Pelvis goes straight down. Try to stay stacked. Arms reach back up again. Left knee comes into the chest. Cross that left foot over towards the right side of the mat. Active flex. You're on the pinky edge of the foot. Send those arms back, chest forward. Weight comes back into the foot. Rise all the way to stand. Cross the knee. Remember, keep that foot in close. Squeezing inner thighs. Drop the pelvis straight down. One more time, reach it up, cross it over, pelvis back, chest forward. Inhale, lift all the way back up again. This time you're gonna take that step back and you're gonna come right into your lunge, your high lunge pose. So flying the arms back as you take as big of a step back as you need to, and then sweep those arms all the way up. Arm bones move back. Squeeze those inner thighs to level off the pelvis. Exhale to warrior two. Back foot spins out. Back toes turn slightly more forward. Let that backhand release down, find your revolve. Inhale, arms back out over your legs, pivot your toes. Slide the hands down the outsides of your thighs, reaching for the outer edges of calves, ankles, or feet. Elbows bend out to draw the crown of the head down. But see if you can make sure that your wrist isn't broken, that you're keeping your wrist as an extension of the rest of the arm. The elbows bending, not the wrists. Hips up. Lifting up halfway, grab your blocks if you're using them. Maybe this time trying without. Weight's coming towards that right foot, and the left leg is going to come out to the side of the body. So you're coming onto your, or rather opposite way, I'm sorry, walking over towards your left foot, right leg comes out towards the side of the body. So this time, you're gonna kick that right foot all the way over to the left. Plant your right hand. For most of us, it's gonna be slightly in front of that right shoulder. Take your left arm out to the side of the body to use it as a counterbalance. And then keep sliding that right foot over. Come up onto the ball of your left foot. Bend your elbow, almost like you were doing a push-up. And then press up. See if you can come up onto the ball of your left foot as you draw your right knee in towards your right armpit. Take it across again, sliding that foot way out. Left arm becomes a counterbalance. Right elbow bends, drop it low. Press it up. And then see if you can come up onto the ball of your left foot as you draw your right knee in towards your right armpit. One more time, cross that right leg all the way over. Left arm stays out. Drop it low. Press it up. Stay on the ball of that left foot and drive that right knee towards the right armpit. Take that giant step out again, and you're going to come into your judo squat. So bending over into that right knee, coming up onto the heel of your left foot, spreading your wingspan. Release both hands all the way down to the floor. Pivot to face forward and slide that right leg, or rather left foot behind your right leg. Squeeze the inner thighs. Come onto the balls of the feet. Arms back. Stay on the balls of the feet as you rise all the way up. Squeezing those inner thighs as you reach. Padagustasana pose. Right heel down, left knee into the chest, cross it up and over. Left elbow underneath the right elbow. Thumbs away from face, elbows away from chest. Sit a little bit lower. Long neutral spine. Keep tightening those lower abs. Still breathing. Unwind, left foot to the floor, arms reach all the way up. Right knee draws in towards your chest. Cross the right knee behind the left knee. Keep the foot in close. Drop the pelvis directly down, arms back. Inhale, back up again. Right knee in towards chest. Cross that right leg over to the left. Pelvis back, chest forward. Inhale, right knee in. Exhale, cross just the knee behind. Feet close together. Drop the pelvis down. Inhale, lift it up. Crossing that right leg all the way behind. Chest forward, gaze forward. Inhale, knee in towards the chest. Step the feet together. Uthitta pose. Baby thumbs come to cross. Exhale to your forward fold. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale to plant your palms, step or jump those feet back. Then you hit the bottom of your push-up. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale it back to downward facing dog. Hop it forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, draw that right knee in towards your chest. Take that leg straight back behind you. Take a giant step back, landing in your high lunge pose. Arms reach all the way up to frame your ears. Exhale, back foot spins out. Warrior two. Inhale to revolve. And then exhale, arms come back out over your legs, straighten your front leg. pivot the toes in. Any variation of that forward fold that you'd like to take. Maybe this time you wanted to practice coming into a headstand. So if those elbows bend in and back, you can bring the weight far enough forward, and the crown of the head comes down to the mat, then maybe taking those legs up, bringing the toes to touch, squeezing the inner thighs, squeezing the glutes, reaching up through the balls of the feet. 3 more breaths, shoulders down and away from the ears. 2. On 1, if your legs are up, take the legs back where you brought them from. So you're landing back in your Prasarita legs. Find your half lift. Walk both of your hands in front of your right foot now, and lift your left leg up to the height of the hip. So this time, you're gonna cross that left leg all the way over to the right. You're gonna slide your left hand away from you for most of us. So that way, as our weight starts to redistribute, the shoulder doesn't come in front of the wrist. You're gonna come up onto the ball of your left foot, or right foot rather, and you're gonna bend that left elbow in, drop it low, press it up. Draw that left knee in towards your left armpit. See if you can come up onto the ball of your right foot. Woo! And then cross it back behind. Bending elbow in, drop it low, press it up, stay on the ball of that right foot as you draw your left knee in towards your left armpit. One last time, cross it behind, elbow bends in, chest goes forward, lift it up, drawing that left knee in towards that left armpit, and then take that giant step back to the top of the mat. Come into your judo squat, left knee bends, come up onto the ball of your right foot, and then find your wingspan. Activate that flex of your right toes up towards the ceiling, then drop your pelvis down. Release your hands down to the floor, pivot to face forward. Slide the right foot behind the left foot. Squeeze the inner thighs, come up onto the balls of the feet. Take those arms straight back behind you. Stay on the balls of the feet. Squeeze those inner thighs as you rise all the way up to stand. Moving arm bones back, hips forward. Let's bring that left heel all the way down to the floor. Right knee comes up and over. Padagustasana legs. Right elbow underneath the left elbow. Eagle arms as well. Squeezing inner thighs, sink lower. Thumbs lift, elbows lift. For 3. For 2. Nice work on 1. Inhale, draw that knee back in towards your chest. As you unwind your arms, step both feet to the floor. Arms reach up to frame your ears. Exhale, hips press forward, elbows bend, chest lifts. Inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, fold all the way back down to the floor. Find your half lift. Find your way to downward dog however you'd like. You can step, you can walk, you can jump. Vinyasa or don't. All right. Looking forward to the top of the mat. Let's hop to Malasana, yogic squat. Turning toes out towards 10 into a clap. Dropping your pelvis down towards the floor. Use your elbows to press your knees away from one another. Think about rising up nice and tall through the crown of the head. Squeeze the knees onto the arms and press the knees into the inner thigh. Tailbone down, belly up and in. Two more breaths, just a moment to kind of settle before we take ourselves through our final variation of these poses. All right, either hands to the floor and hips lift, or you can rise all the way to stand, arms up, hop your feet together. All right, so let's start by bending our right knee, or rather our left knee in towards our chest. And you're gonna catch the top of the knee with the hands. 2 options here. So option 1 is taking this pose by just holding onto the knee and opening the knee out. Option 2 is taking yogi toe grip. Middle finger and forefinger wrap around that right big toe and the loop closes off with the thumbs. Straighten up again, pressing down into all 4 corners of that right foot, and then see if you can start to extend that left foot forward. Peel the pinky edge of the left foot out, press the big toe into the fingertips and the fingers into the toe, and then draw the shoulder in and back, the hip in and back. Start to open the left leg over to the left. Keep your pelvis forward, so that right hip might want to go with. See if you can keep it pulling back in line. And then take your right arm out to the side of the body. Lift the toes up towards the shoulder and draw the shoulders down and together. Bring the leg back to center. Bend that left elbow out to the side, bringing your forehead down towards your knee. Belly up and in. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Again, release your grip on the toe. Keep the leg extended. Cross that leg all the way behind. Drop the pelvis low and back. Inhale, draw that knee back in towards your chest. And cross it back behind. Take it way out. Last time. Inhale, draw it in. Exhale, cross it back behind. Step the feet together, come to Utthita pose. Drop the pelvis low and back, arms up. Exhale to your forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Vinyasa or don't. We find our way to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg goes up and back. Right knee bends, right hip opens towards the ceiling. Option to stay put or take it all the way up and over. Flip your dog. Hips flip, chest lifts, shoulder blades wrap together. Keep squeezing those inner thighs together as you reach through that right arm. And then release that right hand all the way back down to the floor. Take it back to your three-legged dog. Step that right foot all the way through, high lunge pose. Arms reach all the way up to frame the ears. Exhale to warrior two, back foot spins out. Revolve your warrior, back hand lowers. Inhale, arms back out over the legs, pivot to straighten. Exhale to fold all the way down to the floor. Walk both hands over in front of your left foot and bring that right foot up to the height of the hip. So here's where we get a little fancy. Option to keep that leg out to the side, and you might try to rise to stand from here, or you might try to get to your Uthitta, Hasta, Padagustasana from here. Hold on to your right big toe. Bring left hand in front of your hip or onto your hip and rise all the way to stand. Kick that right leg out to the side. Left arm out comes out to the side of the body as well. We're going to bring it back the same way that we came in. Left hand to left hip. Bring it down, left hand to the floor or to a block. Take that giant step back to the top of the mat, judo squat. Right knee bends, come up onto your left heel, reach it up. Release both hands all the way down to the floor, pivot to face forward. Find a standing split, so springing off of your back toes, left leg goes high. Exhale, cross your left knee behind your right knee. Drop the pelvis as low as you can, squeeze those inner thighs. Inhale, send that left leg up. Keep the belly toned, the outer hips toned. Slow and control, bring it low. Dropping the pelvis as close to touching the floor as you can. And then sweep that left leg all the way up. Keep going, two more. All right, last one, we're gonna come all the way down onto the mat. So sits bones are on the floor. Move your feet away from your hips for more sensation. You might place your right hand in between your shoulders. Use your your left hand to press that elbow down. Maybe the left hand circles around the back and the hands clasp for the bind. If you have a t-shirt or a strap, you can also use that if you're close. Maybe you're folding forward. Inhale to rise all the way back up. You're gonna cradle that right leg like a baby, and I'm gonna turn forward so you guys get a better image. So you're holding onto the outer edge of your right foot, the outer edge of the knee, and you're gonna press that knee back and then draw it in front of the chest a few times. So opening and closing that leg. Really finding that kind of seated variation of happy baby. The further back you can bring the right knee, the better. All right, now you're gonna bring your right shoulder underneath of your right knee. Right shoulder underneath of right knee, and you're gonna step into your right foot. Left knee is gonna go back behind you a little bit, and it's gonna kick out to the side. So for some of us, this is where we're gonna stay. This is moving us towards what's called Visvamitrasana. So you might be staying here, just pressing the shoulder into the thigh, or come up onto the ball of your right foot. You're gonna reach your left arm up and around, and you're gonna catch the opposite side of that foot. Now lift that foot up. So you see, I've got that knee all the way up on my shoulder if I can, and I'm kicking the foot off of the mat. Again, this might be it. Still more, kick the foot into the hand and take your gaze underneath of your left armpit. So this is Visvamitrasana with your back knee down. And then bend the knee, place the right foot all the way back down to the floor, and bring your sits bones all the way back down onto the mat. You're gonna unwind the legs, give your legs a little shimmy shake. And then rock and roll it onto your back. Cross your ankles, plant your palms, and step or jump back. Take it through your vinyasa. From downward facing dog, let's hop into malasana again. Toes turn out, pelvis drops down, chest lifts up. Inhale, rise all the way to stand. Hop those feet together. Bring the weight into your left foot this time. Left hand comes to your left hip. Draw your right knee in towards your chest. Find your yogi toe grip. Uthitta, Hasta, Padagustasana. Right leg extends forward. Foot into hand, hand into foot. So there's a sense of pressing and pulling at the same time. Draw the shoulder and the hip in and back. And then start to open that right leg out to the side. Left arm can come out as a counterbalance. And your gaze might be going over that left shoulder. Keep hugging that left hip in towards midline. And dropping your right hip down because it's going to want to hike up as you lift the foot. Bring the leg back to center, left hand to left hip. Right elbow bends out, dropping your forehead down towards your shin. 3, 2. On one, rise all the way up. Draw that knee in towards your chest and then cross that right foot all the way over to the left. Sweep those arms back. Inhale, rise up. Knee into chest, arms up. And cross the leg behind, get low. Drive the pelvis back so that the weight is working into your glutes. Uthitta pose. Hands lower, vinyasa or downward facing dog, that's where we'll meet. Inhale, left leg lifts up sky high. Bend the knee, open the hip. Option to stay or let it go all the way up and over, finding your wild thing pose. Hips split, shoulders wrap together. Drive the pelvis up, the chest up, take your gaze towards your extended left hand. Bring it all the way back around again. You gotta move. I love you, you're so cute. I'll give you attention in a minute. Step that left foot all the way through. I'm getting sweaty now too, which I'm sure is delicious. Arms reach up. Exhale to warrior 2. Revolve it, back hand lowers, left palm flips face up. And then let that front leg straighten, pivot your toes in and fold forward. Walk both hands over in front of your right foot. Take the left leg out to the side, maybe taking your yogi toe grip. So holding onto that left big toe with your peace fingers. See if you can bring your right hand to your right hip, and then see if you can rise all the way up to stand. Once you're up, pressing the foot into the hand into the foot, maybe finding your wingspan here. Let's come out the same way that we came in, right hand to right hip, pivoting forward, releasing right hand down, take that giant step to judo squat. Left knee bends, right toes face up towards the ceiling, press the shoulder into the thigh and reach your right arm up. Release both hands all the way down to the floor, pivot forward, take your right leg sky high for a standing split pose. Cross that right knee behind your left knee, drop the pelvis low. Inhale, lift it up. Reach through the ball of the foot. Try to keep contact between belly and thigh the whole time, pelvis drops. And re-extend. One last time, drop it low. This time, bring it all the way down. Crossing that left knee over top of your right knee. So you're coming into preparation for Gomukhasana on side number 2. So you're bringing that left knee over top of your right knee. Left hand comes in between the shoulders. Right hand presses the elbow down. And maybe the hands circle behind the back. Thank you for the bath, puppy. You're so sweet. And then maybe folding forward. Inhale to lift back up again. You're going to hold to the outside of that left foot with your left hand, and you're kind of drawing yourself into that half happy baby. So you might be bringing the foot across the chest and then back as far behind the armpit as you can get it. But remember that you're staying upright, so you might tilt slightly more forward towards the front of the pelvis, and that way we're not rounded in the lower back. And then see if you can duck your left shoulder underneath of your left thigh, or kind of at the back of the left knee, and you're going to step into that left foot, bring your weight forward. Now, some of us might be staying here. This is totally fine. Right foot kicks behind, so you've got like a little kickstand. Still more, You're gonna come up onto the ball of your left foot. Right hand is gonna reach for the opposite edge of the foot, and you're gonna lift that foot up. Try to straighten the arm as much as you can. Press the shoulder to the inside of the knee or the back of the knee, and then the into the back of the arm. Then start to kick the foot into the hand and spiral your gaze underneath of your opposite armpit. And then release. We're gonna take it all the way down onto our backs. So come all the way down onto your back. We'll do just one little bit of counter stretching. We haven't done much back bending today. So if you wanna do more of a restorative back bend, you might place 2 blocks. There you go, puppy. I'm almost done, I promise. Underneath of the back of your pelvis. So you might place 1 or 2, or you can take a bridge pose, the way you would normally take bridge. Come on, let's go this way. So if you're taking an active bridge pose, maybe that block goes in between your thighs. And if you're taking a restorative bridge pose, it's coming underneath the back of your pelvis. And then if you wanted to stretch out your psoas muscle a little bit more, you might extend one leg out in front of you, or both legs out in front of you. Final option is to reach those arms up and over the head, maybe reaching for the clasp of opposite elbows. But you should feel a nice big stretch across the front of the body. If you're only using one leg on the floor, switch now so the second foot is extended. For another 3 breaths. And then bring both feet to the floor, lift your hips, and go ahead and slide those blocks out from underneath of you, or just come down out of your bridge pose. Let's draw both knees in towards the belly, and we're gonna take one final twist. Let both of your legs drop towards the right edge of the mat. So arms out, both knees towards the right, head towards the left. And then bring the knees back to center and switch it out to the second side, both legs dropping towards the left side of the mat, head towards the right. After all of the effort of the practice, seeing if you can find a way in which this pose becomes very easeful, that you're not pushing or forcing your body anywhere, you're just letting gravity take the bulk of the work out of your hands. And then bringing the legs back to center and taking your happy baby pose. So feet up towards the ceiling, knees bending down towards your armpits, maybe straightening one leg into the hand and rebending that knee, and straightening the other leg into the hand, right to left. And then letting your legs extend out long on the floor, right and the left edges of the mat for your shavasana. You might wiggle it out a little bit. Any adjustments that you need to, maybe sliding the shoulder blades down the back and closer together to make some more broadness across the chest. Maybe scooching your tailbone towards the backs of your heels to give your lower back a little breathing room. And then letting your palms flip up. Taking a breath in slowly as if you were breathing in through your skin, through every single pore. And then opening your mouth and exhaling all the way back out again, kind of unraveling anywhere that was blocked, that maybe got loosened during your practice, and sifting that out of the body. So getting rid of the sludge and the trash. And as you allow your awareness to settle fully into your center, maybe there's a sense of clarity, a stillness. Even if there's not, just noticing whatever there is that's arriving in you. You are so very welcome to remain in your Shavasana for as long as you like, so you can stop the video and just stay. This is necessary. Otherwise, starting to find a little bit of subtle movement in your body, a wiggling of your fingers and your toes, a deepening of your breath, maybe a big stretch or reach towards the front and the back of your room. And then curling yourself onto one of your sides. Really let your body drape on the mat. So you don't have to hold yourself up. You can let everything just kind of flop into your fetal position. And then let's press ourselves up to a seated position so that we can end all together. Take a breath in and let your arms reach all the way out and up, bringing your palms to press above your head. And then exhale, let your hands land lightly in front of your heart, bowing your chin to your chest. May this practice be an opportunity that yourself and maybe all beings through your senses can experience health, peace, and the infinite capacity to love. Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. It was wonderful to practice with you from afar. Ashwini says thank you too. Be polite, Ashwini. Don't give them the butt. And hopefully I'll see you later on this week. I think I'm teaching again on Saturday morning a little Vinyasa, or rather a little rhythm and flow, which is a super fun practice. So hopefully I'll see you there. If not, enjoy the rest of your week, my friends. Bye.